In this video, absolute chaos in 200-mile-an-hour supercars. Daily Race B, it all gets close as everyone hits each other. And in Daily Race C, I get a bit lucky as we have carnage at Catalunya. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2025, week 47, and we have a very fast week this week because we're going over 200 miles an hour in Daily Race A. Now we're at Tokyo Clockwise here, so obviously we got the longest straight known to man. Well, not quite literally, but you know, I have to over-exaggerate certain things here. It's not the only thing. Anyway, let's get back on with this one. We have got 4 laps here at Tokyo. DR updates are off, but SR is on. So good luck with this one. Rolling start, racing hard tyres, and these cars are, of course, hand-picked. So they're already tuned. You just pick which car you want to pick, and off you go. Now, I chose the Nissan Skyline R32. It was the fastest last time. It's the fastest once again, or at least it appears so at the moment. Now, if you don't want to do this race, and I highly suspect most of you won't want to do this race with SR being on and the carnage that ensues, there are some timestamps there to jump to Daily Race B or Race C, respectively. However, we're staying with this daily race because, as you can see with the key statistics, we've used this track twice before and arguably the track car combo once. However, they may have made some adjustments. It's not a top 10 used combo, of course it's not. We last used this track on the 30th of December 2024. In terms of issues then, it's huge speed and no brakes. You have to brake very early in these cars, of course you do. And wall riding is potentially possible in some areas. I definitely saw some wall riding this morning. However, if you hit it certain ways, you're going to get a penalty. Hit it other ways, you're not. So, yeah, take it with a pinch of salt with this one, to be honest with you. Without further ado then, let's jump into this daily race and let's have a look exactly what happens. Right, here we are at the start of this first race, and we've got Sammy Snake starting in pole position. We're starting down in P10, and let's kick off with these unbelievably powerful machines then as we cross the start-finish line. And look at this, we're already heading towards 200 miles an hour. Sammy Snake's dropping towards the back of the pack, probably a wise decision, knowing this is one of the first races of this day. And yeah, not many of us know what we're doing here, to be honest with you. I've only had like, what, 10 minutes practice? We're going to go in towards turn number 1 now on the brakes. Up ahead, there's a clash between 2 cars. Somebody's sideways there in the barrier. We're on the inside of Kiwi there. Nowhere to go as we continue on through. Shadows ghosting through everybody there, looks like. And we're up to P6 Marathonic with a 3-second penalty. Of course, we'll have a look at all the action in the bloopers like we always do here. On the right-hand side there, look at this. Velasquez flown by there on that right-hand side in that Skyline as we go into this fast left-hander, and it can all start to calm a little bit. So that turn 1, every single time you do this race, is going to be chaotic. So it may be wise just to drop off and let everybody crash and go on through. Entirely your choice. Through the right-hander we go then as we continue on out of here. Velasquez looking on the inside of Ugandan Commando, backs out of that one as we head towards this right-hander. Up ahead, the Audi R8 there of Hoggy goes into the barrier. A bit of a clash there with Mario Sonic as well as we go into the left now and continue on through. So everyone's starting to just get their way into this now. We've got one car absolutely miles behind. I assume that was the car that was going backwards at one point in turn 1. We get on the inside of Ugandan. Going to be the outside here. Can we make this work is the question. We go on through here. Ugandan gets a better exit there. And we are back down to P5 then. But not a bad start. 5 positions in 1 lap then. We head towards the braking zone here. I'm lost of late brakes here. Down the inside I go. Can I get it stopped? Oh, a slight tap there, Marasonic. I am going to have to give that one back. Behind us, contact as well between 2 cars. We leave this corner then, and I'm in the middle of a sandwich, so I'm trying to lift off here to let everybody go. Marasonic's got a 3.5-second penalty. None of that to do with me. They're going to take this and get absolutely dropped to the back of the pack, and we continue now in 4th place. So we made 6 places in the race. Look at the speed difference here, though, due to that slipstream. So we go for a bit of bump draft on Ugandan here. This is to get past everybody up to P2, and the goal here was just to calm it down then as we go into this right-hander then. And Huggy there in the barrier on the left-hand side there. And who's that on my right? Velasquez has sent it and actually gets it done and dusted there. Beautiful move there from Velasquez. Ugandan's gone wide there on the next turn. We're back into P2. So chaotic at the end of the start of lap 2 as well there, you saw. Velasquez into the barrier. Now gets a 0.5-second penalty. Sometimes the wall penalties will work. Sometimes they will not. So it's up to fate whether you get penalty or not hitting that wall. We're going to head towards the final corner here then. On the brakes we go, slowing the car down. This time not going as deep, are we? No, we're going further deeper. Look at that. Way deep. We're trying to get the car around. bolt out of here, and run, Tidge, run. It's one of those moments. Let's go. So we head to lap 4, but I did run away as much as I could, but Sammy Snake here catching me up now as we go into the left-hander. I'm still learning this car as well as we go through here. Go up into 4th gear. And what I noticed straight away is look how quick Sammy catches me. That told me I needed to be using the revs, and that's what I did in the time trial, and I'll show you that lap guide straight after this one to tell you how you can go quick here as well. Into the left we go, though. Still defending this P1 position right now as we head up to the right-hander. Just before the 100 is when we're going to brake. 3rd gear, turn it in. Oh, got a bit deep there, though. Can't do too much speed. Nearly into the barrier. That brings Sammy Snake back into it. In fact, there are Shadow and the last. So looking at leaderboard behind us there that could get involved in this action as we continue on through here. We head towards the final corner. Now, Sammy goes down the inside. I was like, okay, go down the inside. I'm going to try and get a slipstream. So I sort of go a bit wide here. Now, the goal here is to try and get the car turned. So I'm in 1st gear right now. Notice I'm going to go to 2nd gear, but I instantly go to 3rd gear. Mistake. I should have stayed in 2nd there. Notice Sammy Snake was in 2nd, bolts away, and unfortunately my cutback absolutely failed, and I come home in P2. But hey, I still survived the race, so, you know, I'm happy in the grand scheme of it. I didn't get a reset either. Now, in terms of points then, I'm giving this a 4 out of 8. So there's lots of 0.5 marks for this one. I don't think this is the greatest race in the world because most people will not want to do it or even like it because the cars just don't brake even though they carry so much speed. Right, here we are then, heading down the straight here. This is brought to you by Coach Dev Academy and the Delta app. Make sure you do check it out in the description and the pinned comment. They are supporting us in this video, so it would be really worth you checking it out. So we head towards turn 1, and on the right-hand side, we have the yellow barrier, okay, that appears. So it's blocking off going down the motorway. That is our brake marker. You want to brake before that hits the edge of your screen. You can brake when it's at it, but good luck making the corner. You can do it, but it's tricky. If I drop to 2nd gear here, this is to get rotation in the car. But watch what I do now. I'm going to short shift to 3rd gear. That reduces some understeer. Now, you don't want to do this on every corner. It's just you're about to hit the brake pedal again, so it's worthwhile doing. On the right side, then, we have this wall into soundproofing, and I'm going to use that as my brake marker for this right-hander. Once again, when you turn into here, you might want to drop to 2nd and then short shift to 3rd, but the exit is downhill, so going in 3rd gear is absolutely fine. You'll get into that power band very quickly, but I stay in 3rd for this one, get very close to the wall, but I don't hit it. We continue on out of there, already hitting 170 miles an hour here as we approach this braking zone. Yes, we're braking for this, which we don't normally do. So on the right side, there's a lamppost if you want to use that. I, however, was judging it based on the middle of that bridge right there that I've highlighted as well. So what you want to do here is just tap the brakes a little bit and let the car turn in and let the car roll as well. Watch what I do here. So just trail brake a little bit. I'll make the car roll. Once you get below 150, I then start accelerating. I'm then going to dab the brakes once again for this right-hander, slowing the car down. I need to get as far right as possible now for the chicane. And I need to be as far right as possible before these highway markers. These are your brake markers. You're going to drop to 3rd gear for this corner. Hard on the brakes when you get to these highway markers. Very obvious brake markers, just under the 100 board if you want to use that instead, but the highway markers are better because they're across the track. 3rd gear, we turn in now. We accelerate a little bit, then we're going to lift off, let the car get round, and then accelerate out of that corner. Remember, you have to use the revs. I showed you that in the race. Now, on the left-hand side, we had all these yellow signs, and then we have that sign right there. This is your brake marker for the fast right-hander. You're going to drop to 3rd gear for this one and then short shift to 4th gear on the exit because you're in between the power bands and 3rd gear top end will cause you a bit of understeer. So we're going to hit the brakes right now. Notice how we're just trail braking a lot here. Drop to 3rd gear, then up to 4th gear to continue on through. Head over towards the right-hand side. Now, I've highlighted this mark here on the circuit. This, when it becomes visible, I want you to just hit the brakes. It's very easy to outbrake yourself for this corner. I did it so many times. I was actually on an insane lap, a 147 lap, and I didn't get it because I outbraked myself on this one corner. When you see the paint, brake. Turn in and then instantly start accelerating through the corner and you should be fine. Just be careful that wall on the exit. Heading up here then, we have the 100 board. We need to brake before that hits the rear view mirror at the top of your screen. You're braking extremely early for this corner. It's very easy to run wide here. I did that lap 4 in the race. You will have seen that. So brake really early for this corner. This way, you get a nice tight line on the inside. You can accelerate through the corner a little bit then. Head over towards the right-hand side, but very quickly, you're going to go on the brakes, okay? Where that lamppost is on the right. It's just after this lamppost, in fact. But keep an eye out for this. If you are struggling with the braking, brake early. Brake at the lamppost. It's absolutely fine. What I want to do now is turn in. Now, I actually want to turn in a bit later than you expect here for this corner because if you turn in too early, you're just going to understeer out. So let's say I turn in later. It's a later apex, and now I can accelerate through the corner. We're going to head towards the hairpin now. The corner, I nearly outbrought myself a few times in the race on. So as we go through here, there's a gap in the barriers on the right side just before the 200 board up ahead. Use this as your brake marker. When that hits the edge of your screen, always you hit the brakes and brake in a straight line. You may want to overlay the braking a little bit here as well, okay? So what I mean by that is hard on the brakes, just gently tap the throttles, keep the car straight if you need to. I don't do it on this particular lap, but you can do that. Go a little bit deep. You don't want to go too deep, though. You want to get the car turned as quick as you can and instantly go on throttle. This is a four-wheel drive car. You can change the differential. I didn't change it. It's still on 40/60. And brake balance is on +5 for those wondering that as well. That is 146.427. And as always, make sure you do check out that Delta app. We jump to Daily Race B then. Well, I'm in that Dodge Viper. And do you recognize the circuit? We've been here 1 billion times. Yes, it's Deep Forest and in the forward layout. Now, we're doing 6 laps here on Custom Slipstream. It's a rolling start on racing medium tyres. And, of course, you can adjust the brake balance here in Group 3 machinery. I chose a Dodge Viper. Dodge Viper is always good here at Deep Forest, and a few other people did. But the Beetle showing up there as well. In terms of key statistics then, 17 times this track has been used. 3rd overall, so it's used a lot. It is a top 10 used combo as well. 5th overall, and we last used it on the 1st September 2025. Because of the sprint race nature, aggression is inevitable, and it's hard to overtake on the infield. So, of course, with the aggression I'm talking about after the long straight, you're going to see a lot of dives down the inside. So the last corner hairpin and the first corner as well. Lots of diving, lots of slipstream. Let's jump into this race and let's have a look how my race actually went. Here we are then at the start of this race. Hoagie in pole position in the McLaren 650S. Velasa in the Corvette behind me. Max Power, of course, in the Porsche. And if you are enjoying this video, as always, remember to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, stay in touch with all latest content, and hit the hype button if it is available to you. I don't know how it becomes enabled, but for some of you, it's there, and it really does help the channel out massively. It's what it's made for in terms of helping the channel, so I really do appreciate it. Right, let's kick off this race then. It all gets very close behind there. Look how close Velasa is in that Corvette as we head into the infield here at Deep Forest, which I did say it's very hard to overtake on. As we go through this left-hander then, we're going to come into this right, and then everybody just suddenly stops and everybody hits each other. Bit annoying. We'll look at what happened in the bloopers. I ended up with damage, but fortunately Gran Turismo removes damage as you drive on. So we're going to head towards the hairpin for the first time of asking here then. I'm going to try and send it around the outside of Mario Sonic. Now, this is a move and a half if it works out. Does it work? Not quite there. Mario Sonic defends that beautifully. But this Viper, very good at accelerating that Corvette behind. Not catching me at all here as we head towards turn 1. Mario Sonic's got the move done on Shelty in the Beetle. We're going to head in towards turn 1 then with Velasa trying around the outside in that Corvette. Looks like he's handling quite well, that Corvette here. We continue on out here then. Shelty's got sort of ahead there. So what I want to do here is just back out of it, and that's what I do. Just allow Shelty to go there. And it doesn't compromise all our races then as we go into the infield once again. However, as I said, not much overtaking happens in the infield, so we jump to the back straight here where Shelty is on the left-hand side. I go towards the right then. This gives me opportunity to get in the slipstream and watch this Viper just haul itself forward then as we head towards the hairpin. There's lots of action up ahead. I think that's a Subaru as well as we go into the braking zone. Around the outside once again. Here we go. Can we get the move done? As it's very close on the inside. Velasa does give me room though. I appreciate that one, Velasa. But we hope to P11 then. Mario Sonic now behind Sparks in a Beetle as well as we head down the hill and up to start lap number 3. What we're going to do is try and get on the inside. However, we failed and gave a bump draft instead. Now, Sparks here is actually going to make it so that we both get slipstream and we both start racing each other here, me and Mario Sonic, as we head towards turn number 1. So I'm looking to slow the car down here. Who's at my right? Oh, it's Velasa trying around the outside again here. Look at it. It's beautiful stuff as we leave that corner. Now, Velasa's got a bigger run now as we head towards the infield. We're going to go through here side by side. Mario Sonic gets the move done up ahead as we go through here. So Velasa's got the move done, but I'm trying to keep my car there. I don't want to give this position up as we are still in the fight up ahead. It's not really costing us that much time in the grand scheme of it, and we are still on the outside. What racing this is. This is beautiful stuff, this. Look at that. Side by side still then as we head to the left-hander as we continue on through here. Still side by side. We're going to go on the brakes now then as we go into this corner. The car wants to understeer like crazy, but I think we're ahead there. All said and done, we do manage to maintain position. Fantastic racing with Velasa there. Really was good fun. Well played to you as well as we go on the brakes now, the Corvette and the Porsche go around the outside there. I go on the inside here. I have to be careful. I don't want to punt the German there as we leave this corner. Velasa's there again. But remember, this Viper, so strong in a straight line. It's actually incredible here as we are now behind Sparks. So we're going to give Sparks a bit of a push then. And we do need to keep out an eye out for the Italian up ahead in the Lamborghini. They've got a penalty here, but I do remember this race from this point on. It's all about to get very interesting indeed. So as we go on the brakes here, I back out, trying to make it 3 wide there. Italian goes deep there. Tried on the inside. Unfortunately, just came back there. That's nothing major. That's just racing as we continue on through. Velasquez still on my outside there. I think Velasquez stuck to my rear quarter there as we head into this fast right then. Mario Sonic on my inside now in that Viper. And it all settles down here then. So we're up to P10. But you can see here, big pack forming behind me there in that rear view. There's just everybody, and up ahead as well, as there's a bit of contact there between David and Sparks Fury here. David's fighting for his life, but this fighting causing this group to really shrink up. It's going to cost David so many positions, because 0.5 second penalty now with that many cars behind me is going to be like 4 or 5 positions. But we'll see what happens as we go through this left-hander and onto the back straight again for the 4th time of asking them. So, we do need to try and get past Sparks here. This Viper much quicker than the Beetle. We do tap Sparks on the rear quarter. We do that again then as we continue on through here. Now, the Italian takes the penalty, goes towards the left-hand side there. So, we go down the middle. Now, I was fully expecting the Italian to not know where to brake here, and I could see that. Look at Mario Sonic as well. Mario Sonic was so aware of what was happening, lifted off the brakes to avoid being hit from the rear, and then went back on the brakes. Unbelievable driving from Mario Sonic there. Well played with that awareness, really was. As we go to here, I got a little bit put off by the lag of the server. That always happens in Daily Race B. So it did put me off on the exit here. It did cost me a tenth or two. I wanted to be very close to Mario Sonic, but we'll see if we can still get them on the run to the line then. Here we go, slipstream away. Can we get that P7 from Mario Sonic is the question. We are catching. We are catching. We are still catching here. As we go towards the right side, it's going to be very close, but not quite there. You see the smile on my face. I enjoy runs like that. So we finish it in P8 in the end then. And that race, a very interesting one. Very aggressive, of course, but the racing is still there if you want it on the back straight and the start-finish straight. 5.5 out of 8 in terms of the scores. All the details, obviously, in a pinned comment. Right, this lap is brought to you by Coach Dave Academy and the Delta app. Make sure you do check it out in the pinned comment and the description. Turn 1, the start of the curb is your brake marker. You can see my brake balance as well, plus 5 in this Dodge Viper. You can also use the 100 board if you want to, but that's a bit late in the day, in my opinion. If you're struggling with the brakes, brake at the start of the curb. And that's what I'd advise initially to get you into it. So I dropped to 2nd gear here, and then I'm going to short shift to 3rd gear. And just as I short shift, I'm going to start accelerating. I'm looking for the orange painted barrier there as I go around the corner. Now, I try and wait until it gets nearer the center as possible here. With the Viper, you do have to delay it a bit more because it does like to understeer a bit more. So just be careful. Use that as your accelerating marker, but judge it accordingly. Don't run too wide on the exits because the red and white curbing is your track limit. If you go over that, unfortunately, you will get a penalty. Now, on the left-hand side, we have this fence. I want you to just lift off and turn in here. You don't have to brake for this one. If you are struggling with a bit of understeer, do dab the brakes if you feel it necessary, but I don't have to here, so you don't have to either. I'm going to lift off, turn in, just try to balance the car a little bit in terms of speed, accelerate through there, and then before I get to the grass and the concrete on the left-hand side, I'm going to hit the brakes again. Now, I actually want to abuse a little bit of track limits on the inside on that concrete, but there are some bumps there as well. So my advice here is don't be doing too much when you're on the bumps, okay? On the speed bumps on the inside. And that's what I'm going to do there. Notice that I just roll, then I dab the brakes, and then I turn through the corner. Now, critically, for that corner that I've just gone through there, you can do it in 2nd gear or 3rd gear. I highly advise using 3rd gear to avoid power oversteer on the exit. Now, this corner here, the end of the curb, is your next brake marker. Once again, you can use 2nd or 3rd gear for this corner, and you're going to trail brake as you go into it. What I mean by trail braking is just staying on the brakes there for a long period of time. Let's say I'm on the brakes for a while. I release the brakes, I let the car roll a little, and what I'm looking for is that red above the tunnel. I've also highlighted the arrows on the left-hand side because they're really good markers for accelerating, okay? Because they're getting very close to the edge of your screen. You know the corner exit is coming up. Now, on this corner exit, do be careful of power oversteer. Notice there, I don't go 100% throttle very quickly, and you do have to be careful of track limits going all 4 wheels on the green stuff that was on the left-hand side. As the curb protrudes into the circuit there the most, this is my brake marker for this left-hander. You can drop to 3rd gear for this corner if you like, or you can stay in 4th gear. Highly your choice. But as you go through here, so I trail brake a little bit there. I'm in 4th gear, let the car roll a little bit, then continue on through after I get past that bump. Now, this corner, a vital corner to get right because you're about to go into the back straight. So we've got the tarmac going to concrete for the bridge, or the Armco going to the steel on the right side for the bridge sort of barrier there on the right. These are both your brake markers. So when you hit the brakes in a straight line, 2nd gear, as you release brakes, turn in, clip the curb, accelerate out of the corner in 3rd gear. Okay, that will reduce power oversteer. Look how much of the track I am using here. Critically, the red and white curbing is track limits, so this is allowed. If I was all 4 wheels on the green, it's not allowed, so do keep that in mind when you are doing this lap. can now accelerate all the way towards the hairpin, and what we're going to be looking for is on the right hand side here. So we have the camera structure there, and that is what I use as a brake marker. You could try and use the catch fence, which is a bit further on. It's why I've highlighted both of these. However, the camera structure here just before the catch fence is better, and it'll slow you down because you can outbrake yourself very easily for this corner, and you really don't want to do that. So hard on the brakes right now. Going to drop to first gear as you turn in. Now you want to go to second gear on the exit just to avoid power oversteer, but even in second it can still happen. So what I would advise there, 50% throttle when you get straight, then 100%. We head towards the line then, that is a 126.353, and you can follow that lap on the leaderboard. We're going to jump to Daily Race C then, where I'm in that GT by Citroen. Yes, indeed. It's Group 4 here. We're at Catalunya, if you do not recognise the circuit, and it's the one without a chicane. And we're doing 11 laps here with custom slipstream. A rolling start, racing medium tyres, but you do have to make one mandatory pit stop, and we have ×1 fuel and ×4 tyre wear, and you can adjust the brake balance here in the Group 4 category. I love Catalunya no chicane. It's the best layout at Catalunya, in my opinion. In terms of key statistics here then, we've used this track 12 times, but only 3 times for Group 4 and this combo. So top 10 used combo, definitely not 43rd overall, and we last used it on the 16th of June. Slipstream is strong in Group 4, so that start-finish straight, it's vital if you're in Slipstream, and the pit lane entrance can be hard to judge, as you will see in this video. Without further ado then, you can see me there in the GT by Citroen, but lots of cars here in this particular race. Let's jump into this, let's find out the strategy and all the racing action and what exactly happened here. Here we are then at the start of the final race, and we're starting all the way down in P13. As always, if you are enjoying this video, make sure you do give it a like, subscribe to the channel, stay in touch with all the latest content, and hit the hype button if you are enjoying this video. The hype button, not available to everyone, but if you have it, it really helps out the video massively. Right, into towards turn 1 we go at the end of the start finish straight. Nothing much happens there, other than we all close the gap to 4.2 seconds right now as we go through this long right-hander. Now, a lot of the action always happens at the start at Catalunya because of that long start-finish straight. As we head towards the next corner, Marisonic goes on the inside. So I'm thinking, right, okay, I'm going to try on the outside then. Let's see if we can carry some speed. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here as I go alongside them. We've got Shelty in the Scirocco up ahead. I was actually tempted to use a front-wheel drive car this week because I do think they'll be quite strong on the start-finish straight here. We're going towards the left-hander. Marisonic still trying to go around the outside there. Not going to quite work here, and we are up into P12. Sparks has chosen the Bugatti Veyron there. An interesting choice, if I do so myself, as we head towards the fast chicane here in Sector 2. Through there we go. Staying on the red and white curbing to make sure we do not get a track limit penalty. End up here then. Now, this corner I don't normally brake for, but I saw the brake lights come on Sparks' Fury, and I had to hit him very quickly indeed. Otherwise, I was rear-ending that Bugatti Veyron. We're going to head towards the sharp left-hander now, essentially a hairpin here. And as we head down here then, I'm going to try and outbrake the Veyron. I was thinking up ahead, what's going to happen with Shelty? Shelty goes into the Greek driver there, and I sort of benefit from all of that and gain loads of positions. Now, I'm going to have a look at that one in the bloopers. I don't think I did anything wrong. I don't think anybody did anything wrong, to be honest with you. But it's one of those where sometimes you just get lucky. And lucky I got. So, lap number 3 then. We catch up to the next pack here. It's very hard to catch up to a pack due to the slipstream as well. But here we are then. BTM up ahead in the Suzuki Swift. We've got I can never pronounce that. Dermatitis we'll call you as we go into here then. I try around the outside of the Swift then. We've got Bembo up ahead as well. I mean, no disrespect, by the way, with the name. It's just, as I said, Dementis. It's very hard to say as we go into the right-hander. They got the move done on Bembo. I'm on the inside of Bembo as well as we continue on through here. Yes, we're teammates, but all's fair in love and war. And this is a race, of course. We race clean and fairly, but we carry on here then as we head towards the last corner. Notice that I'm in 5th gear. I didn't mean to be in 5th gear. I didn't realise at the last second, and I run slightly wide. Unfortunately for me, that means a track limit penalty, which is fair enough. I ran too far wide. That is a fair game penalty. So, we're going to take that penalty then. Does BTM manage to get the place back from me then as we head towards the left-hander here? I'm hard on the brakes right now, trying to keep the inside line, trying to defend this position. We do defend it. We're up into P7, or maintain P7, should we say, as we go to lap number 5. Up ahead then, we've got a big old fight then between the Greek, Shadow and Muscafi. Up ahead, there's small contact between those two. Now there's more contact. Shadow's off the circuit on the inside then. We managed to just slide back on the circuit. Muscafi on the inside. That looked quite aggressive as well. So we get on the inside of Shadow. Now, as I approach this, there's only one thing in my mind. That's pit. So we're going to head towards the pit lane then as we go into here. Be careful as you enter here then to hit the brakes. Look in my rearview mirror, and Shadow, well, does that infamous thing of hitting the wall there. You see how much I was laughing. Now, I'm going to change tyres here. Now, do you have to change tyres? No. The strategy is entirely your choice. If you're going to change tyres, I'd recommend between laps 4 and 7. If you're not going to change tyres, pick when you like. You know, it's entirely your choice. Good part of strategy that, though, in terms of Daily Race C, in the fact that do you change or not, it's entirely your choice. And when you do it as well, entirely your choice. It's really good when that happens. Now, I've highlighted these here, a bit early for the lap guide, I know, but this is your lap guide as you exit the pit lane. So we have the orange painted barrier on the left or the green to tarmac on the right. The care of these two is your brake marker. Hit the brakes and you will make the corner absolutely fine. And we can continue on with the race. Lap number 7 then, the end of it, or sorry, start of it, was the end of lap 6. We overtake a few people who came in the pits lap later, and look at the significance there. I've really pulled a gap then. I've actually caught up to Brown Banana up ahead. Now, leaving the pits on the right side, we have Huggy here then, as we head towards turn number 1. Last and late breakers, I'm going to try and beat then. Huggy on my inside. Can I get the position from Huggy is the question. Through the left we go, side by side with the Honda NSX as we go into the right-hander here then. And Huggy's got the inside line. This is a long corner, so having the inside line is very beneficial here. And Huggy is going to get that position, it looks like. I could try around the outside of the next corner. Are we going to do that is the question then. So let's be last and late breakers. Not going to quite work here. I'm going to fall in behind. Now, at this moment in time, it's one of those where I'm actually going to work with Huggy this time because I want to keep up with the German driver up ahead, and that way we've got a chance of actually going further up this grid. So as we continue on through here, we're going to head up towards the fast right-hander here then. As we turn in, I don't normally brake for this one. I did dab the brakes a little bit there as we continue on through, but you can see I had lots of track to use. Huggy just gets it wrong and then misgears as well. So I go for the move then as we head towards the hairpin. Do we get this done and dusted? We're on the inside. There we go. Happy days up to P5, and I think, okay, no worries. We're 1.7 seconds off the German driver. That increases as I made a small mistake on one of the laps there. I probably should show you that one, but I broke myself a little bit and just went a bit wide, so nothing major. We do get ahead of Muscaffi then, who, remember, was ahead of us when we came in the pit, so we've benefited there. Final lap then, we have the Greek driver leaving the pits. They didn't change tyres, of course. We did. And you can see the different strategies that do exist there, which is really good stuff. In the end then, we're going to come home in P3, which is not bad. Bearing in mind, we do start towards the back of the pack. Grove Street Racer there with the race victory. Well played to you in the Honda NSX. And the German driver there in P2, Brown Banana. But if I was a bit closer and didn't make that mistake, arguably, I might have got P2 there with that 1 second penalty, which will be for track limits there. Probably a 0.5 extended to a second. Now, in terms of the point scores, 8.5 out of 10. I mean, this is a very good daily race, this. It has a bit of everything in there. The racing can be good. I didn't show you that much racing because I was just in a bit of a weird situation, but the racing is available to you. Here's the lap guide then, brought to you by Coach Dave Academy and the Delta app. They do sponsor this portion of the video. Do check them out as well. I love the Delta app. I use it all the time. Highly recommend it. Plus 5 brake balance as well for the GT by Citroen for those wanting my brake balance. And as we head towards turn 1, I've given you 2 markers here. You have the flag indicator and then the 100 board. You can have a brake at the flag indicator. You can brake really late at the 100 board, but more than likely you're going to go deep and compromise the second part of this corner. Or you can brake in the middle of them. Entirely your choice, but they're the markers I would use here. So I brake more towards the flag indicator here, and I'm going to accelerate through here. I want to mount a little bit of the curve on the left and make sure I get over to the left as much as I can to allow me to carry as much speed as possible through the right-hander. Notice that I lifted a little bit as I got closer towards the curb. And critically, what I'm looking for as I go through this corner is that orange painted barrier there. The closer it gets to the center of the screen, the more you should be accelerating out of this corner. Basically, if it's in the center, you should be flat out at that point. Your car should make it around the corner. And that's what I'm doing right now. So, foot to the floor, and that's basically the end of sector 1 here. Now, for this next corner, what I use is this bridge here. Particularly on this, the edge of it on the left-hand side. So as that disappears off the left-hand side of my screen, I'm going to hit the brakes. And then I want to turn in a little bit towards the corner. Now, this Citroen has a lot of downforce, to be honest with you, for Group 4. It feels like it anyway. So I want to try and carry some speed here a little bit and try and keep a nice tight line. Notice our trail brake, keep it nice and tight. And once again, orange painted barriers are your best friend here in terms of accelerator markers. And I use that one up ahead right there, just before it hits the edge of my screen on the left-hand side. What we're going to do now then is full throttle around this corner as best as I can. Remember, this corner does open up, so this is the tightest part. It opens up nicely, but we can keep the foot to the floor. These Group 4 cars are very stable in that sense. We head over towards the right-hand side, and we have the toilet block on the hill there on the right. This is my brake marker for the left-hander. You need to brake early for this corner, okay? So as the corner of that toilet block hits the edge of your screen, hit the brakes. I was trying to use the end of the toilet block originally, and I was just out braking myself, costing myself 2-3 tenths of a second. Brake early for this one. You want a nice tight line if you can. Instantly get on throttle there. And let's say I suffer a little bit of oversteer. Nothing major though. Very catchable as I continue on through. We're going to head towards the fast chicane then. Critically here, you do want to abuse track limits a little bit on the exit. But on the entrance, the start of the curb here is your brake marker. You could stay in 4th gear as you approach this. There's no need to go to 5th gear at all. You are not going to hit the limiter. So we're going to hit the brakes. We're going to drop to 3rd gear. We'll release the brakes, turn in. We don't want to mount the curb. We just want to touch the red and white curbing. And that's critically what I do right there. I can then straighten up, staying on the red and white curbing on the exit, and abuse a little bit of track limits on that inside line. As we approach the fast right-hander then, we have 2 brake markers here. On the left, we have the orange painted barrier. I don't use that, but it's there if you want to use it. Instead, I use the end of the curb. And all I'm going to do in the Citroen is lift off and turn in. You don't need to brake for this corner. I said it in the race. I'll say it again now. Look, I lift off. As long as I clip the curb there, I'm going to make it round the corner. And as you can see there, it works absolutely fine. So try and build yourself up to that one. If you are struggling with understeer, tap the brakes a little bit, but you do not need to brake. That's the critical part here. Now, I've highlighted 2 markers. I've highlighted the 100 board and also this flag indicator, which when you just stop it, it doesn't look like it's there at all. But as you race, you will very much notice this. So these are your 2 brake markers. Now, in Group 4, you can brake that a little bit later now because we have less power. So I'm aiming towards the 100 board here. I drop to 1st gear, let the car rotate, then go to 2nd before I start accelerating. You may suffer some oversteer on the exit there. Just be careful of that in this Citroen. It's very easy to do that, but it's very catchable as well. On the left-hand side is an orange painted barrier. I don't use that. I just brake in a straight line here. That's all I do. But if you want a brake marker as that hits the edge of your screen on the left-hand side, you can use that as a brake marker. So that's what we're going to do now. Trail braking all the way through here. And now I'm trying to accelerate really early. Now I'm very aggressive with the throttle there. Notice how early I went onto it. I had now to lift off and I've just gone back onto it right now. Critically for this corner, you have 2 accelerating markers. You have the sausage on the inside, which you can use on all other corners of the circuit as well, or the orange painted barrier as it hits the center of your screen. And that's what I do right there. So I continue on through here. Our next marker is these tire marks going into the curb. So you follow these tire marks, okay? So as they come in, turn into this next corner. You could cut a lot of the inside line. Remember, red and white curbing is track limits. So you cut the inside and make sure just your 2 left tires stay on the red and white curbing. You'll be absolutely fine. That's what I'm trying to do right there. I lift off a little bit because I got a bit scared. I didn't need to because you can do that flat. However, you will understeer most of the time, so you do have to be careful. The final brake marker is the pit lane board down the right side. As it hits the edge of the screen, as it's doing right now, I'm hitting the brakes. And I want to turn in just before the end of this sausage that I'm straddling right now. And I'm just going to let the car roll a little bit as I go through here. As I clip the curb, I then accelerate through the corner. And I'm going to head towards the line. That was the world record for quite a while, actually, this morning. 147.371. And that is the lap brought to you by Coach Dave Academy and the Delta app. Let's jump into some bloopers then. Here on board Norman at turn at number 1 in this crazy race. What happens here then? Oh, Norman outbrakes themselves and nowhere to go into Sparks. Causes absolute carnage. Sparks is the one that goes backwards there, turned round, and Norman gets a 5-second penalty, which is fair enough, to be honest with you, with that 5-second penalty. Right, next up, we go on board Kiwi, also in the AMG. The AMG's having a bad day here, so I'm not the only one outbraking myself a little bit into here, so Kiwi actually gets hit from behind as well. Nothing major. It's one of those that will happen at that corner every single time. Next up then, it's still Kiwi. So I did want to see why Kiwi left the race, because I did see Kiwi leave. As we go through here then, Kiwi just gets a little bit of wheel spin there, and the car goes absolutely flying. And at that point, Kiwi's race is effectively over. We jump aboard Hoggy then for this last corner on the final lap, and it goes very deep into this corner in the Audi R8. Nice to see Hoggy picking something different there as well. I probably should take a leaf out of your book. Continue on through here. There's a slight tag with max power there, and I've got to be careful with those words. And Max Power goes for a spin round. Hoggy waits up there. Max Power decides wants to reverse towards the line, so Hoggy's going to do a bit of fun here and actually just going to help push Max Power towards the line, which is a nice bit of fun thing that you like to see in a race. We jump to Stadium Race B then, we're on board Shelters. This is where everybody just grouped up here. As we go into this corner, you see there Sparks hit the Italian, who then Shelty hit Sparks, I hit, it carries on. It's just one of those things. Now we go on board the Italian here because they go towards left-hand side there. Not sure whether it's defensive or not. Watch Mario Sonic though. Watch Mario Sonic's brake lights here. Watch them, watch them. They disappear because he sees it coming, and that saves Mario Sonic's race. That action alone, amazing. As the Italian comes back on there, a bit of contact between those two. That's nothing major. This, though, is very odd because the Italian purposely pushes the Lassa off. And I have no idea why. So that was a bit weird, to be honest with you. Now, Velassa wasn't very happy with that. That was very obvious indeed. So as we head towards turn 1, Velassa's going to take some revenge. I don't like revenge punting, and I call it out as well. But you see Velassa goes for a revenge punt right there. And the Italian completely gone and out of this race. And Velassa gets a 4-second penalty. We jump to Daily Race C then. We're on board Shelty here. And notice that the Greek driver does everything he can to avoid Dimmy. And then Shelty just goes back of the Greek driver. And I just end up lucky. I literally just got lucky in there. And Shelty gets sandwiched going into this right-hander. So, yeah, I got very lucky with just a racing incident in that one. Here's Muscafy then. So this is the Muscafy Shadow incident. And Dimmy was in this as well, wasn't he? So as we go into it... That's it. What? That's what's good. Not Dermatitis. It's Dimmy. Dimmy, that's your name from now on. I'm just going to shout that out every time now. So the bit of contact there. Shadow just understeered a little bit there. Now, going through the left, Shadow contacts Dimmy. Going through here, Muscafy. I don't know. No idea what's going on there. Maybe catching it. Not too sure. Jump on board Shadow though, so I'm on the inside of Shadow, and we did see what happened to Shadow, but I assume this is because of dirt on the tyres, just understeered a bit too much. So hits the brakes here, trying to carry as much speed as I did, straight in the middle there. Job done. Now I did see some arguments in chat afterwards, and see Velasa there comes into the pits and gets absolutely barriered. Now, I have an issue with the game here rather than Shadow and Velasa here. So you notice that the yellow flag comes on at the last possible moment. So that's really hard for Velasa to know that Shadow was there, and hard for Shadow to realise there was no yellow flag. And the reason I say this is because if you jump to the car behind now, the other Greek driver, watch this. Look where the yellow flag actually comes out. It comes out really late on, but it comes on right here. And if it was on here, Velasa would have probably changed course accordingly. That's going to be it for this video, though. I do hope you have enjoyed it. Give it a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel. Stay in touch with all the latest content. And remember, give it a hype if that hype button's available to you. Do check out my partners down below, including Coach Dave Academy and the Delta app. They do sponsor parts of this video. And do check out my 2 videos there. Some of them have been doing very well. And I've got controversial views about the next patch coming up. That's been it for me, though. Big thank you for watching. And I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.